Now, South Africa's currency, the rand, gained as much as 1.5% today against the dollar on news that the country's ruling party could discuss President Jacob Zuma's conduct at a meeting over the weekend. Local Daily Business Day reported that 101 ANC stalwarts and anti-apartheid activists want the National Executive Council to discuss calls for Zuma to step down. The paper quotes two senior party officials, but ANC spokesman Zizi Kodwa says that the agenda will only be set at the meeting. The ANC's top decision-making body is also due to discuss a motion of no confidence in Zuma that has been filed by opposition parties in parliament. Previous attempts, of course, to remove President Zuma have failed, and pundits maintain that even this last attempt is unlikely to go anywhere. The ANC's executive committee has recalled a sitting president before, and that was President Thabo Mbeki back in 2008. Well, joining me in Johannesburg with an update on this is Angelo Coppola. Angelo, welcome to the show. Now, we know just a talk that Zuma may be removed seems to have increased the appeal of South Africa's assets to investors. We saw the rand gain as much as 1.5% against the dollar. Now, how true are these reports that the ANC is plotting his removal? And certainly, Angelo, if you're still with me, how likely is this to happen?
Well, they remain rumors at the moment. In fact, at least one senior ANC member has been calling a radio station denying that Zuma is on the meeting agenda, but they do concede, or he did concede, that his name could be included on the agenda at a later stage. We have been here before, as you've said. In November, in fact, rumors were rife that Zuma was about to be recalled. Those rumors came to naught. There's no doubt, though.
Well, it looks like we've lost Angelo there. Hopefully we can get him back a bit later. Let's go back for a moment to our top story of the day, that South Africa's ruling party, the ANC, could be discussing President Jacob Zuma's conduct at a meeting. And we're joined again by Angelo Coppola in Johannesburg. Angelo, welcome back. Now, like we said earlier, the rand gained about 1.5% on this news. How true are these reports that the ANC could be plotting President Jacob Zuma's removal? And certainly, how likely is this to happen given the history?
Well, at this stage, they remain rumors. In fact, one senior ANC member has been phoning radio stations in South Africa denying that Zuma is in fact on the meeting agenda. But he does concede that the name, or his name, could be included at a later stage. We have been here before. In November, rumors were rife that Zuma was going to be recalled. Those came to naught. There's no doubt, though, that there's lots of plotting going on, according to the analysts I've been speaking to. And that's the case in any political leadership battle. Whether the plotting will lead to any action, this close to the policy conference and the elective conference, remains to be seen. Those plotting the president's downfall, though, would probably need to be sure that their support base is in place, because if it doesn't happen, they could be sidelined. And of course, if there are any ministers in amongst that group of plotters, they'll have very fresh memories of that recent cabinet reshuffle.
Well, Angela, what do you make of reports that the political crisis in South Africa could be coming to an end? And certainly there are signs of economic recovery right now. We saw inflation was down in April within the central bank's target band, and that's for the first time in 8 months. What are your thoughts on these views that analysts have?
Well, it might be a little premature to be talking about recovery right now. The country's economy is still in the doldrums. Leading indicators point to a continued state of distress. The country still faces the consequences of those two ratings agency downgrades, which haven't completely filtered through to the consumers just yet. And of course, South Africa is still waiting for the Moody's decision, which is imminent, which, of course, we'll get a clearer picture tomorrow in terms of what the economy is looking like from the central bank, because they announced the MPC decision on the repo rate. The consensus is that it's likely to remain unchanged, and that's despite that CPI number coming in at 5.3%. That's good news. We'll have to wait and see, though.
Well, Angela, are we seeing a gradual return of investor confidence into South Africa's markets, or do you think that Zuma factor is going to sort of determine investor interest in the country?
Well, you know what, based on the data from those business confidence surveys that we've been watching for the last couple of months, it appears that confidence remains subdued. On the other hand, though, the market traders are telling me has priced in most eventualities. So we're unlikely to see any drastic movements there. But it's still unclear whether confidence will improve if Zuma does go now. And that's based on whether his replacement, until the general elections in 2019, that Cyril Ramaphosa, can get the job done and repair some of the damage that's been caused. Analysts suggest that the environment will remain unstable, though. Some are blaming leaders of the ANC for not taking action against the president sooner, and that isn't good news for the party, with those elections less than 2 years away. Ucha?
Well, as always, many thanks, Angelo, for those insights. Angelo Coppola joining us there in Johannesburg.